Hello everybody, welcome back. So today I am going to be continuing my GeoGuessr tips series and this time I am doing Eastern Europe. So this is a map of Eastern Europe I have here, and I'm just going to be telling you which countries aren't covered, because there's a lot more that are covered than aren't covered. So you have Belarus isn't covered, Moldova isn't covered, Kosovo isn't covered, and Bosnia isn't covered. That's all that isn't covered, and then the rest are covered. Eastern Europe is one of the hardest regions in GeoGuessr, and I'm just going to be telling you the main tips to try to help you identify each country. And hope you enjoy, and let me know if there's any things I have missed out. Alright, so we're going to start off with Estonia. And Estonia will have these bollards, so they are white with the black slanted bit in the middle, and then a white stripe on one, yellow stripe on one side, and then two yellow dots on the other. These are unique to Estonia, so if you see this, you can go and guess Estonia, and then just mix with the landscape too, and the dotted lines here. So yeah, Estonia is one of the easiest ones, but if you have this bollard in sight. So next up is Latvia. And Latvia will have these bollards. So it's basically just Estonia's bollards, but white. So basically everything's the same, but the dots and the stripe is white. Some other countries have this bollard, but mixed with the landscape, you should be able to easily guess Latvia if you have these bollards and the landscape. A lot of these will be bollards to help you identify, because they are some of the only clues. There's not many meta tips in Eastern Europe, but so next up is Lithuania, and Lithuania will have these bollards. So you have white with the black with nothing on one side, and then on the other you will kind of have like a orange-red stripe. If you see these, which you will see quite a lot in Lithuania, you can go and easily guess there. And this is one of the easier ones, but yeah, these bollards definitely help you. So next up is Poland, and Poland does have a lot of clues. So you will have these bollards, so it's basically just white and then a red bit with a white stripe in the middle, and then just red on the other side. They are pretty distinctive bollards, and then you do also have other clues for Poland, like the language has a lot of Z's and S's, and you will also have green signs in Poland. So Poland is definitely one of the easiest ones in Eastern Europe. Okay, so next up is Czechia. And Czechia has the same bollard as Slovakia, but a good way to determine these countries is that Czechia will have Gen 4 coverage and Slovakia will not. So this is Gen 4 coverage here. As you can see, it's really good quality, and you will have a blue kind of car here. So yeah, if you see this bollard and it's this really good quality coverage, you can go and guess Czechia. So this is Slovakia, and as I said before, same bollard, white with black, and then these two like orange things on it, and on the other side it will be white kind of square. But yeah, if you see this, and this is a flat example, but a lot of Slovakia is mountainous, as you can see. So just like this western part is quite flat, but this area, the central bit, is quite mountainous. So Slovakia has the same bollards of Czechia, but it will be a bit more mountainous, and it also has flat parts too. So next up is Ukraine, and in most Ukraine locations you will have this red blur / car with this long antenna, and this is unique to Ukraine. So yeah, if you see this, you can easily go and guess Ukraine. You won't always have this though, but most of the times you will have this red blur, which definitely helps you to identify Ukraine. Okay, so next up is Romania. And Romania will have these bollards. They're kind of, you wouldn't really call them bollards, they're more like markers. They're kind of like this style, and they're just kind of like thicker bollards, not plastic. They're made of concrete. So if you see one of these with a generally really flat landscape, you should be able to guess Romania. And yeah, this is very distinctive to Romania, and yeah, really unique. Okay, so next up is Hungary, and in Hungary you will have this bollard. So it's white with a black bit and then the orange bit in the middle, and then you will have a white bit on the other side. The Hungary shares these bollards, or they have the same bollards as Croatia, but Croatia, the landscape will be a lot more mountainous, and there will be there's no of the Gen 4 coverage in Croatia, which is this really nice coverage that I talked about in Czechia. So yeah, if you see this bollard with the Gen 4, you are able to go and guess Hungary. So next up is Slovenia, and Slovenia is a very mountainous, very beautiful country. You will have these bollards, which you can also get in Austria. That's where you mostly get them, but that doesn't really count as Eastern Europe. And you can also get these in Montenegro, but there is an easier way to identify Montenegro. But for Slovenia, if you see these really tall mountains, this kind of alpine architecture, and this bollard with the white, the kind of like hat on the top, and then grey and black on the other side, you're able to guess Slovenia. Slovenia's language, as it's kind of in between Croatia and Italy, it's kind of a mix of the two, so that will also help you. So next up is Croatia. As I said before, very similar to the Hungarian bollards, but it's Gen 3. The architecture is a bit different. It maybe feels a bit more tropical, if that's a good way to distinguish them. This is a flat part of Croatia, but there are a lot of mountainous parts of it too. Yeah, and a lot of near the sea, and a lot of mountainous parts, which will hopefully help you to guess Croatia. So next up is Montenegro. And as I said before, Montenegro has the same bollards as Austria and Slovenia. But in Montenegro, we will have these rifts in the sky. Not in every single location, but in most of them. It's kind of it's the same with Senegal that I talked about in my Africa video. It's just a malfunction with the camera where there's kind of like a crack in the sky. And this will definitely help you to identify. But do be aware, there is another country in Eastern Europe that I'll come to, which does have this. But for Montenegro, you will have just the typical EU plates and those bollards. So next up is Serbia, and Serbia has this similar kind of bollard to Slovenia, Montenegro, and Austria. But they will they're a bit more sharp and they're a bit more slanted. Also with Serbia, a pretty flat landscape, and they do have Cyrillic and Latin script too, so that will also help you identify. But yeah, with this bollard, flat landscape and some Cyrillic and Latin, that should be able to help you guess Serbia. So next up is Bulgaria, and a really useful tip for Bulgaria is there's a lot of winter coverage in Bulgaria, so it doesn't look the nicest. Bulgaria is a very beautiful country, but because most of the coverage is taken in the winter, it can look a bit grim. But yeah, you'll have some snow lying around. Yeah, so Bulgaria is a pretty easy one to guess if you kind of have like a grim, snowy kind of not nice looking landscape, mixed with the Cyrillic too, and just the general landscape, which is kind of not very mountainous, kind of rolling hills, but you will have some mountainous parts in the central and southern parts. Okay, so next up we have North Macedonia, and in North Macedonia you will have these bollards. So they are white with the black and then a stripe on one side and then a stripe on the other side. North Macedonia also has Cyrillic, also with some, not all of the writing is Cyrillic. You will have some Latin script too. Quite a beautiful landscape, very mountainous, which will probably help you determine if this is North Macedonia. And yeah, it's kind of an easy country with these bollards and the landscape. So lastly, we have Albania, and I was saying that there is another country in Eastern Europe that has these rifts, and that is Albania. But a good way to tell it is you will either have a red on the left, a red section of the number plate on the left, like Kyrgyzstan, or you will have double blue, so blue on each side, like Italy, which will also help you determine it. So that is Eastern Europe. It is quite a difficult region for geoguessing, but with those tips, hopefully that will be able to help you. Let me know if you want to see more of these tips videos, and if there is anything substantial that I missed. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see everyone soon.